What's going on, y'all? This is Lo.
This is Key. I'm a low key.
Today we're gonna be talking about how we, as humans, convince ourselves that we don't deserve more. You know. I know for me, we was just doing some. We was just listening to something earlier this morning. They was talking about how the cow can get shocked by electrical fence. The generations that come after her, the female cow don't even have to be pregnant at the time she gets shocked by the fence. But when she does become pregnant and have her offspring, the offspring will instinctively know not to go over there where their mama got shocked at.
Yeah.
Why is that? Like, that's so deep. That's so profound that when you think about how we convince ourselves that we don't deserve something, it may be even deeper than just trying to prevent failure. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Yeah.
Like, that could be just like surface level, but it seems like it can go as deep as what the people who came before us did, and what's in their genes. What were they afraid of? You know?
Absolutely.
And you could bring it back to preventing failure, but I don't think it's only our failure. We convince ourselves we don't deserve more because we afraid of failure, but more so our ancestors could have been afraid of failure in that same way.
Yeah.
So it becomes a lot more entrenched if you don't do something about it. And that's the scary part about it. Like, if you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
And if you just accept it and you feel like you only want what the people around you got and you alright with that because you don't feel like you know better than them, then cool. But it was never about you thinking that you better than them.
Right.
It was about you and what you feel like your potential is. You know what I'm saying? You got something?
Yeah. I agree. I think a lot of us, I think it's genetic. Well, I won't say genetics, but it's just the way we were taught. I will say genetics because it can be a transcendence of through generations of fear. Because you got to look at like your family tree. Like if you trace your lineage back to like you even got to trace it. You can ask your grandma or your great grandma, whatever lifestyle they lived. It can transcend to the next generation, and then before you know it, it's all inside of you. So you learn that. I think what's really amazing to me is how a child, when it's born, like it knows nothing. Like you have to teach it everything. So it's like when you teach it everything, you're teaching it based off of what somebody else said.
Yeah.
So it's like if somebody instilled in you to follow somebody else or look at everyone around you, and you base what you do off of them, you base your goals off of what they achieve, I feel like that is where you're limited in your thinking. So you convince yourself that you can't have more based off of how you were taught in your environment, based off of your genetics, and based because we still have that, within us. Like we still have like our ancestors' blood inside of us.
Yeah.
Sometimes it skips. I think a lot of times it shows up and it may skip a generation and then shows up in the next generation, but the previous generation probably never recognized it until the generation after them recognized it in them, and then like, oh well, wow, that explains it. So I think it's just how the person handles it. So with that being said, we limit ourselves by avoiding failure because we don't set the goals that we want. Like we want things other people have.
Yeah.
Because you've seen it done by them. And that's not necessarily the pathway that you want to take. So I believe that you got to set achievable goals, but not so like low to the point where you can't achieve it. But what's another word? Not achievable, but something you can reach in a certain amount of time.
Yeah,
like don't set unrealistic.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Unrealistic goals, but you set a goal and
that's
you aim
gonna
for
stretch
it.
you. You want a set a goal that's gonna stretch you, not a goal that like you already know you could do it because you done it before. I'm talking about something you ain't never done, but you know you can do it though. But different, it's intangible. You haven't realized it yet.
Yeah.
So unreachable would mean you want this thing, but you haven't even did this thing yet. So how you gonna get to that goal when you ain't even here mentally yet?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So that makes sense. And when we set goals, based off of somebody else, or we convince ourselves that we're gonna be disappointed, you only doing that because you're not confident in yourself. You're scared. You scared of failing. And failing, you gotta give yourself permission to fail. Like it happens.
Yeah.
And you can't use the excuse, well, if it happened then it'll happen again, so I'm just not even gonna bother with it. No. If you want it, like you say to yourself, like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna keep trying until it happens. It's just it. It's supposed to
keep pushing and keep pushing.
And then just give thought to only what you want. Don't give thought to anything that contrasts that, anything opposite of that. Don't give thought to it.
How do they do that though? Because that's a difficult thing.
You gotta get ahead of it.
What
like
you mean?
You can't, when a thought comes, a negative thought comes,
Okay.
you gotta get ahead of it. When I say that, I mean, you gotta slow it down. You're not gonna abruptly stop it, and fake it, but you gotta slow it down. So you gotta go general, and you pull out the positive out of that situation. If you're around a person that is negative, you wanna pull out the positive in it. And it's just that person or you may not have gotten caught up to where you want to be, because it's there. You know where you want to be. You just haven't gotten there yet, and you just work on it, man.
It don't be the individual that's evil. It be like how we vibrate. Seem like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And when you see somebody that's like negative, it's just a direct, I believe, a reflection of what you may have thought, or you're on that vibration. So you gotta change that. You gotta get into the mindset, like, I'm gonna be who I wanna be. Whatever I gotta do. And be serious about it. And stop playing trying to do what somebody else do. Because that's the worst person to be, is not be you, authentically you. Because you want to do what somebody else do.
It's the hardest thing to do.
And you faking it, and you faking it, and you faking it. And your real you is dying to come out. Your real you want to live truth,
Yeah. The worst way to get better is to come up with some kind of script to play in life. Like, that's not even authentic. Like, the only way to play is to be yourself. True authenticity. Like, you spend way too much energy trying to remember all of these things. You have to become that.
Yeah, and people love that. They'll love, like, oh, I didn't even know you like that. Really? That's unique. That's different, you know? They like truth. And it's a naturally you're gonna attract those that if you're you and that's your truth, you're gonna attract truth. But if you're a person, an evil person or a complaining person, or it's not you, like my husband said, it's not you, it's how you were brought up, it's what you were around, it's the way that you think. Your mindset is everything. And that could be passed on through generations.
You come out thinking about your weakness, your perceived weakness, and how you gonna cover up your weakness. Then outside of you will exploit that weakness. Because that's what's on your mind, like that's what you're thinking about. And in turn, you have to get defensive to try to defend something because you never was what you was portraying to be. So now you gotta get defensive.
Yep.
Or even like being too nice sometimes. You know this person be talking some bullshit, but you let it blow by, let it blow by, try to be super polite. They taking advantage of the kindness.
Full advantage.
And it get to a point where you just flip out. And they like, oh man, you in your feelings, you tripping. Nah, you ain't in your feelings. You know what I'm saying? It's because you wasn't authentic. So they took you how you was coming. And then when it build up and you start talking crazy, then they like, oh man, that person in their feelings.
Yeah.
That's why it's just better to be authentic.
Just be you.
You know?
Just be you. And let people take you the way you come, you know? And I think that's when people won't walk, they won't do it. Because being passive, like, I don't think there's nothing good that can come from being passive. What you think?
Yeah. But you gotta know who to be passive with. And you could be passive, but don't put your objections to the side. Like, if you feeling some type of way, you got to stand on it.
Say it.
Straight up.
Get ahead of it. Get in front of it.
Yeah, people fear progress. You know what I'm saying?
And the feeling is like amazing. The feeling is amazing. When you reach your goal, like that feeling is amazing.
It's powerful.
So
you got something else, man?
That's it.
So y'all get to creating. It's low.
This is Key. We're low key.
Like, comment,
and subscribe.
peace.